What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today our quality is slightly worse. Actually, it's a lot worse. We're on my laptop camera. I'm dealing with a lot of technical difficulties, not only in recording this, but in the recording of the recording that we're gonna watch. Your boy wants to get this thing out, and I've already filmed the JSAUX backplate versus the Mark 7 three times. This is my third time, and I'm not doing it a fourth time because I'm just not. So we're gonna do things a little different. We're gonna watch. You're gonna watch me watch the video I made because there's no audio. Actually, that's a lie. There is audio, but it's like distorted. It cuts out. I was gonna dub over it, but I don't know. I talk a lot. There's a lot of banter, so there's no way that's gonna work. So we're gonna do it this way. So enough said. Let's get into it. And bada bing, bada boom. All right. So right here we have our Mark 7 backplate. I'm not even gonna press the video. Notice that I have a little bruise on my index finger there. Oh man, I forgot what hit me. Something hit me. Oh, was that? Oh, it was a freaking sawzall. No, we're not gonna talk about that. So it's called the Mark 7 now. Well, it's always been called the Mark 7. But it's MK7, not 7 anymore. You notice that we don't have the ribbing. We do not have our vent cover on there because we have a thermal probe sitting on our SSD and IC chip area right around dead center because we're measuring temperatures there between both testing on the JSAUX and the Mark 7. And also, one thing you can't see, but the thing you can see is that we do not have a grill on our fan. I'm trying to figure out if there was a whistling noise that was caused by the grill by making this version, and I in fact that whistling noise has gone away, and it is actually quieter now by 1 dB because we made that circular hole for that fan. One thing you can't see is the fact that the fan shroud that covers our heatsink in there, let me see if I can scrub to that portion of the video. I think I'll angle it here somewhere here. I don't know if I do. Right there. Let's just press play here. Oh, no, I don't. I was flipping it around. I can't get it. But I'm not gonna waste your time. What the main difference is those fans, and I think I can show it when I take this thing apart. Um, Basically the shroud that holds this fan together, and the heatsink is kind of blocked off so that all the air. Man, where is that part of the video? I don't even know. When did I film this? I filmed this thing like 3 days ago. I was just checking temperatures on the intake outtake. Just wanted to see if I can give you guys an angle. I should just bring it here. Okay, so I don't know where it is. All right, I don't know where it is. But basically, the air is forced down towards where this thermal probe is. So rather than just dispersing around the Steam Deck, I've channeled most, if not like 90% of the air to come down towards that area. So that bottom intake now is the bottom intake is now an exhaust. It's exhaust. It was exhaust on the 7 too, but it's more of exhaust now with the MK7 because I channeled all the air to come down that bottom venting. All right. So one thing we go ahead and we switch over to the JSAUX backplate. One thing I want to say about both the JSAUX backplate and the Mark 7, they both have the same exact cooling solution. All right. So they both have the exact same 40 by 40 by 10 fan, 40 by 40 by 10 heatsink. The only difference is on the JSAUX backplate is attached with adhesive thermal tape. So the adhesive thermal tape is not the best has the best thermal ability. I mean, like pass through, basically meaning absorption from one place to another, or pass through. I don't know what it's called. There's a reading for it, but it's not the best. It's just not the best. But obviously, that's a crux with the JSAUX backplate is there's really no mounting solution. You could use magnets, but then again, like the contact point might not be perfect on a magnet, and also I don't really feel comfortable putting a magnet right on top of the APU. Um, but to each their own. But for the most part, they're exact same thing in the testing. One thing I'm going to really call out here is you're going to notice that we blocked the fan on to make it a stock JSAUX backplate. And one thing you'll notice is this number over here in the top. That's our SSD IC chip area. And it's at 41. And it's pretty much going to stay there throughout the whole testing of it. And then as soon as we remove the tape, which I believe is right here. I wish there was like a 3 times speed I could do. So we're testing it. We're testing it. Um, Same fan, same everything. And real quick, remember, I don't think I mentioned it, but this Steam Deck is overclocked. We have a 4,000. So we have 22-watt TDP, 4,000 on the CPU, and 2,200 on the GPU. And then right here, we unplug the fan. And then one thing I want you to notice is on the thermal probe, you'll see that top number, it starts to increase. Starts to increase like crazy. And I think we peak at 51. And that is because this port was originally this port was originally an intake port. So when you do the fan mod or you purchase the JSAUX backplate with the fan hole, this port is obsolete. It just becomes for show because air is always going to pick the path of least resistance. The JSAUX backplate, the new version, the one they copied me, they do bring the plate down all the way down here, which will help. But then it's all about cooling solutions. So if you're not using an external cooler with that JSAUX backplate, it's gonna get hot. It's gonna get really hot. Your temperatures, we peaked at 51 in my testing in that area, and that we didn't test the VRMs, but I think the SSD IC chip is the one that's probably going to get the warmest because it's furthest away from an external cooler too. So you got to keep that in mind. So yada yada yada, bada bing, bada boom. We go side by side with these two. Remember, they all had the same fan, same heat sink. The only difference was, the way, we used them. That was the main difference. So let's get into the numbers now. All right, enough talk. Let's get into the numbers. So we have the full numbers here. All right, so the JSAUX by itself throttled. We throttled. We hit 97, 96, and then we had a fan speed that was set to 5,300, and it was getting so hot it overrided it and pushed to 7K. It pushed to 7,300 RPM. So that's a good sign of throttling right there when your fan speeds change from even the preset. So we were on the Fantastic plug-in set to 5,300 and it pushed to 7,300 because it was getting so hot. 97, 96 is not a good place for your Steam Deck. But you'll notice that the SSD and IC chip was in a good place. We had 41 there, and our DB was 47, which was slightly louder, and that's only because we were at 7,300 RPMs, which is faster than what it's rated for, which is crazy. That's how bad it was. And then we did the fan mod, and you see a really, really, really big decline in temperatures. We got a 10-degree delta on our GPU and a 16-degree delta on our CPU. But then if you look into the SSD IC chip, we increased by 10 degrees because remember, we bypassed the original stock intake. And so if you have a JSAUX backplate, and whether it's the one with or without the fan mod, whether you buy JSAUX backplate and you do my fan mod, or you buy the JSAUX backplate with my fan mod, then you're going to get somewhere around that 51 degrees area, unless you put a really big cooler on there, which is going to be ridiculous. So 87 and 80. And real quick, I didn't get to that part in the video because I know I wouldn't be able to find it, but we were actually throttling in that video. Um, Once we were swinging around, I think I got it right here. I just wanted to give it a shot swinging around, and it got really toasty really fast. It If you see the temperatures there, we're 87, we're kind of peaking there, and then we're hitting the 90s, and then you'll see 94, 80 on the CPU. Once you really put a load on the game, it started to throttle a little bit as we kept on playing. But in our testing, you'll notice those numbers were numbers that I picked from standing on the ledge for just consistency issues. So we're definitely really having some problems when we were actually playing the game, which is kind of funny when you think about it. So, but for testing purposes and for references, all these numbers were on the ledge. We're just standing on the ledge because it was the most consistent place where we could get actual numbers. So keep that in mind if you have a JSAUX backplate and you want to do the fan mod, or you're gonna buy the one with the fan mod they stole from me. Then we get into the Mark 7. All right. Obviously, you guys knew the Mark 7 was gonna freaking crush him. Freaking crush him. All right, so let's talk about DB. We beat everything in all categories except for the IC and SSD chip. I want to talk about that real quick. So in my previous testing, I got a lot better results on this IC and SSD chip area when we had the thermal probe. It is a lot warmer that morning. It was 3 degrees warmer than that last testing. So if I take that into account, it would have been a 46 on the IC SSD area versus a 41, I think it was. Actually, no, it was actually lower than that. It was like 30 something, but that was a different place. And I did make some changes to the SSD and IC chip. So that's very weird. And I definitely want to figure that out. All right. So we are, and real quick, 51 degrees, JSAUX fan mod, that is completely safe. It's completely safe to be, in my opinion, for it to be 51 degrees. I don't think it's unsafe. Would it be better if it was cooler? Obviously. Obviously it would be better if it's cooler. Okay? But don't be afraid of that 10-degree jump between the JSAUX and the JSAUX fan mod. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. And that's just my opinion, though. Mod your Steam Deck at your own risk. Secondly, all right, and lastly, man, our GPU and CPU temps crushed the board. Crushed the board. So what is that? A 21-degree delta on the CPU is freaking ridiculous between the JSAUX and the Mark 7. It's ridiculous. We got a 15-degree delta from the JSAUX with the fan mod. It's just across the board, we just crush JSAUX. Maybe that's probably we should we crushed it. We crushed it. I knew we were gonna crush it. It's all about the application. Even though we use the same cooler, we use the same fan. It's all about the application, right? We were attached to the heatsink, meaning our ability to transfer heat out of the system is greater. It's just greater, and it's it's just better. I don't know. It's just better. So, but a 20-degree delta, 21-degree delta, come on, y'all. That's freaking amazing. I'm pretty freaking happy about that. I put a lot of work into designing this thing, and let me just go back to full screen. I put a lot of work in designing this thing, and it was not easy. It was not easy whatsoever. So I'm happy. I don't know. So real quick, JSOX, not hating on JSOX. I'm just saying I made a better product. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so I did make a better cooling product. Probably doesn't look the best, but I think aesthetics is eye of the beholder, right? It's all individually. I think it looks great. But things I'll call out is the fit and feel. It does not sit properly on a Steam Deck. It doesn't feel as good as like a stock backplate. It doesn't do all of this. There's a lot of caveats. It's like it's like it's like when people mod cars, right? And they fucking just go like it looks uglier, right? But it's faster, and then it's like it's just exactly what we're doing with the Steam Deck. It may look uglier, but it is cooler, right? So, fit and feel's not the best. And to be honest, we haven't even sold one yet, and that's fine with me. I want you guys to know that I didn't do any of this to make the money or anything like that. I just like what I do, and this is fun for me to figure things out, and I really enjoy the process of it, even though it takes a lot of time and effort, but I'm all about that. And you can tell just by my physique, I'm down to grind. I'm down to grind. And, and it kind of makes me happy too because we made some changes. And I just want to, if I ever, when I have a product out there, I just want to be the best I can do. I mean, I'm not going to compare myself to anyone, and nor should you. You should never compare yourself to anyone in particular, except for yourself. Because the only person that lives with your experiences and deals with your bull crap and your baggages is you. No one else dealt with it. No one else knows what it's like. No one else lived your life. So, before I go into Poppy rants, because it looks like it's moving in that direction, yeah, we made some changes to JSAUX backplate. We made some changes to the Mark 7 and we crushed the JSAUX backplate. We crushed it. Oh my god, it's so much better. And you got to think about it too. Right now we're offering it with the fan and with the heat sink. So it's an all-in-one unit, and all you is basically put some thermal paste and it's plug and play. Um but I am making some slight changes to it. I am a little weirded out by how much better the old version did with the SSD IC chip, and it might just been my placement might have been different. Maybe my application wasn't better. Um, I don't see how I could make it better. I don't know. I might make some slight changes to it to see if it was running cooler with the old version. I'm gonna just retest the old version basically. Um, but guys, other than that, sorry about the quality on this video. Hopefully it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. Like I can do a lot of things. This audio and video stuff has been like the crux since we been going full force on this channel. Um, but yeah, other than that, guys, if you really want to help out that channel, go ahead and visit us at DIYpoppy.net. Pick up some swag, maybe a t-shirt. Pick up the Mark 7 backplate. We also have the STL files for some of my previous mods. And we also have some STL files and some JPEG files for the vinyls. So if you wanted to wrap your own Steam Deck and you have a vinyl cutter, you can pull it from the website. I found it on Reddit. I'm just passing it along. Also, I have it. I think I put it up too with the cutout for the JSAUX backplate, so you can wrap your JSAUX backplate. It should be up there. I don't know. Now I gotta head to check. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.